Close the doors of your mind from all carnal will, from all carnal thought, from all emotions, desires, and fears. Anything in the center of one's mind and one's conscience is in the center of oneself that does not allow one to come to balance within oneself. From your cranial nerves, from your 12 melanin centers to your thoughts in your mind that govern your hands and your feet, through your capillaries, through your thoughts, through your inner man, through your yetzer, through your imaginations, through the things and the complications and the components of one's sentient body. For today is a day of freedom. Today is a day of warning. Today is a day that Yahuwah has given to us as a Shabbat to cease from all our labors. For we live in this world, we are not of it. We live in this world and we live in this time sequence that we were born into, but we are not of it. We live in this world according to their days, months, and years, but we are not of it. But we look at this world, we look at ourselves, we look at our inward man, we look at our inner thoughts. We acknowledge this day as the one, Yahuwah Elohim, who sits in the highest Shamayim, above the 7 heavens, above the Shabayim Shamayim, above the 13th Shamayim, beyond our comprehension. Through his infinite knowledge and infinite wisdom that gives us life and understanding in our inner being and our inner thoughts, that we no longer think about ourselves, but to think upon him, the one who made all of the Nahar, all the rivers and streams of the earth, all the Har, all the mountains of the earth, every single tree on earth, every single sedimentary sand on earth, every single animal and creature and creeping thing on earth, every single behemoth, and every single thing that we see on earth, on the surface of the earth. And the things that are unseen are beyond our comprehension. But yet, he reveals those secret things to us and to our children, that we may do all of the Torah. We thank Yahuwah for another Yom. We thank Yahuwah for another life to live through his son Yahushua Mashiach. For we cannot live our life by ourselves. We cannot live our life by our own thoughts and our own ideas and our own internal thought processes. For we depend on his consciousness and his rain and snow to water our heart and our mind, that we may grow up into eternal life. So as we move forward in kindness, Ahal, joy, peace, patience, meekness, temperance, amunah, self-control. We move forward in his fruits, not in our own fruits. When we move forward in our fruits, we'll have rotten fruit and evil fruit. Even as we have had evil fruit in the world from the very day when Yahuwah said he was going to destroy man from the earth in the beginning. So as we move forward and we focus on the things that are above and not on things on the earth. So this is the book of Yeshayahu, chapter 45, Isaiah chapter 45, Isaiah chapter 45, verse 1. Yeshayahu chapter 45 and verse 1. It says, "Thus says Yahuwah to his anointed, to Cyrus." So we look at it, he said anointed. He anointed a person that don't even believe. He says to Cyrus, "Whose right hand I have grasped." So he said he grabbed his right hand. So he literally holding his right hand to subdue nations before him and to loose the belts of kings and to open doors before him, that gates may not be closed. That gates may not be closed. I will go before you and level the exalted places, and I will break to pieces the doors of the bronze and cut through the bars of iron. And I will give you the treasures of darkness and the hoards of the secret places, that you may know that it is I, Yahuwah, the Elohim of Yasharal, who have called you by your name. So when you look at Yahuwah Elohim, he controls all kings and rulers of the earth. And when he proclaims somebody that he anointed them, and he proclaims it, and he said, "I'm going to give you all these things," it's better not to get in his way. Because if you get in the way, you're going to find yourself in transgression. In transgression. Verse 4 says, "For the sake of my servant Yaakov and my Yasharal, my chosen." He said, Yasharal, my chosen. He said, Yasharal, my chosen. "I call by your name, and I name you, though you do not know me." You get what he says, "And I am Yahuwah, and there is no other. Besides me, there is no Elohim." He said, beside me, there is no other God. Right? "I equipped you, though you do not know me, that people may know that from the rising of the sun," so we know that he said from the rising of the sun, that's the dawning of the sun, when it comes out of the portal, it says, and from the west, and there is none beside me. He said, ain't none beside me. I'm the only dawning you need to know of the sun. And get what he says. I am Yahuwah, and there is no other. I formed the light. I created the sun with the 12 rays of light. I created the 12 rays of light. I clothed the woman with the sun. And she has a crown on her head. I did that. I made the light. I made the near. I made the menorah. I formed it. I shaped it. I gave the instructions on how to make it. You get what he said? I formed the light and create darkness, and I make lamps go out. I make near candlesticks go out. I create darkness. You get what he says? I make well-being. I make your body healthy. I give you understanding on how to heal yourself. You get what he says? And create calamity. I create all the calamity in your life, in your lifestyle, in your understanding, in your mind, in your country. You get what he said? I am Yahuwah who do all these things. He said, I do it all. He said, I do that. I make your hair fall out. I make your hair grow back. I give you the things that's on your body, and I make them leave. I give you all your disease, and I can take them away. He said, I do everything. He said, I do it all. Right? We go into verse 8. This is the last thing. Showers, it says, shower, O Shamayims. And it says, from above, and let the clouds rain down righteousness. Rain down what? Rain down righteousness. That's what the cloud's supposed to do. The cloud, the rain, is only supposed to rain down righteousness. And what is that supposed to do to the crop, to the animals, to the trees, to the soil in the earth? It's supposed to produce righteousness. And get what it says? Let the earth open, that salvation and righteousness may bear what? May bear fruit. When does that happen? In the summertime. We're in the last couple of days of summer. He said, let the whole earth, let the earth open, that salvation and righteousness may bear fruit. Let the earth cause them both to sprout. I am Yahuwah. He says, I, Yahuwah, have created it. Right, so this is the book of Yeshayahu. Go real quick. This is the book of Yeshayahu, chapter 55, verse 10. Yeshayahu 55 and 10. It says, Yeshayahu, Isaiah 55 and 10. For as rain and snow come down from Shamayim, and do not return there, but water the earth, making it bring forth sprout, giving seed to the sower and bread to the eater. What type of bread and seed is going to be? Righteousness. Righteousness. And get what it says. So shall the bar be that goes out of my mouth. What is that supposed to produce? Righteousness. And get what it says. And it shall not return to me empty, but it shall accomplish what I purpose, and shall succeed in the thing which I sent it. What is it sent to do? To make righteousness sprout in the earth. Right, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 1. Genesis chapter 1. Bereshit chapter 1, verse 9. Bereshit 1 and 9. Genesis 1 and 9. Because he said it's all he's supposed to do, tzedakah. Right, tzedakah. Right, so this is Bereshit 1 and 9. And Elohim said, let the waters under the Shamayim be gathered together into one place. He said, let it be gathered into one place. When they all were gathered on the first day of the seventh month, the book of Nehemiah, they were all gathered into one place. Those who could hear and understand. You get what he said? And let the dry land appear. He said, let the dry land appear. And it was so. And guess what? When you have dry land, what do you need? And Elohim called the dry land Adats, and the waters he gathered together, he called Yam seas. And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim said, let the earth sprout vegetation, plant yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit, in which is their seed, each according to its kind. What is it supposed to produce? We just read it. It's supposed to produce righteous fruit, righteousness. that they may bear fruit. Let the rain showers come down. I, Yahuwah, create all these things. And get what it says. On earth, and it was so, and the earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed according to its own kinds, and trees bearing fruit in which it is their seed, each according to its kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. He saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning, the third day. It was good fruit. It's going to produce righteousness. It's going to produce good inside of people. It's going to produce good inside of people. Right, this is the book of Psalms 155. Psalms 155. Psalms 155 and Psalms 115. Sorry, Psalms 115 and 1. Psalms 115 and 1. Psalms Tahalim 115 and 1. It says, now to us, O Yahuwah. It says, now to us, O Yahuwah, not to us, but to your name give kabod. He said, not to us, though, but to your name. To your name. Why did Yahuwah brought attack Isaac? Because Abraham obeyed his laws, commandments, and judgments. It was for his name's sake. Why did Yahuwah give all power given to Yahushua Mashiach in Matthew 28? Because he's his son. And it's for his name's sake. And get what it says. Verse 2 says, why should the nations say, where is their Elohim? Why should they say that? Our Elohim is in the Shamayims. He like the like the clouds. He like the rain and snow that come down. His rain produces righteousness and bears fruit. He creates calamity. He creates calamity in our life. He gives well-being to us. He creates peace, shalom. He do all these things. He's in the Shamayim. And he does all that he pleases. He does whatever he wants. That's why he anointed Cyrus. He anoints anybody he wants to. Who you gonna say? He anoints whoever he wants to do his will. He does whatever he wants. And their idols, guess what it says? Verse 4 says, their idols are silver and gold. This is what happens. The work of human hands. They have mouths, what happened? But do not speak. He said, you got a mouth, but you don't even speak. He said, you got a mouth, but you don't even say shalom. You got a mouth and you don't even greet. He said, you got a mouth and you don't even sing. You got a mouth and you don't even speak his debar. Or you sit in the house, walk by the way, and lie down and rise. Let's see what type of person you are. But do not speak. Eyes, but you do not see. He said, you can't even see. He said, first I don't speak. Then I'm blind. And then what he said? They have ears, but do not hear. Then they stop with their ears. And then what they do? Noses, and they do not smell. You can't even smell. They have hands, but do not feel. They can't even feel. They don't even use them. But feet, but do not walk. He said this is how the idols are, the nations. They have feet, and they don't even walk. And they do not make a sound in their throat. They don't even got no sound vibrational frequency. Even the rain that hits the ground has a sound vibrational frequency. They have nothing. You get what it says? He said they ain't got no sound in their throat. They can't even speak out of their throat. They can't bring out nothing vibrational frequency. They have no rain and snow. They can't even pour out righteousness that they produce righteousness. Those who make them, what? Those who make them become like them. Which means if you like this, he said you become like the idol that's in you. And he said, who made you like that? Yahuwah did. We just read it in Yeshayahu 45. He said, why did he do that? He said, those who make them become like them, which means they don't hear, speak, or talk, and they don't walk. They don't even have a sound out of their voice. And get what it says? Or do, it says, they that who make them become like them. So do all who trust in them. He said, that's what you trust in. People saying, why do you trust in that? Right, this book of Ezekiel chapter 13. Ezekiel chapter 13. Ezekiel. Yakaziel. Ezekiel 13:1. Yakaziel 13:1. It says, the bar of Yahuwah came to me, which means his word, his rain and snow, the bar came to him. And get what he said. Son of Adam, Naba against the Nabi'im of Yasharal who are prophesying, and say to those who prophesy for their own hearts, hear the word of Yahuwah. Thus says Yahuwah Elohim, woe to the foolish prophets who follow their own spirit, their own ruah, and have seen nothing. He said they follow in their own ruah. Because you got your own too. He said they ain't got nothing to do with my ruah, that's your own ruah. He says, your Nabi'im have been their jackals among ruins, O Yasharal. You have not gone up into the breaches or built up the wall of the house of Yasharal, that it might stand in the battle in the day of Yahuwah. They have seen false visions and lying divinations. He's like, lying divinations, why? Because you just read it in the book of Tehillim 155. He said, they who worship these idols, they can't hear, speak, talk. They don't even utter a sound out of their mouth. He said, why are they not saying that? He said, why y'all knobbing lies? You know when these people worship idols. And get what he says. They say, declares Yahuwah, when Yahuwah has not sent them. And yet they expect him to fulfill their word. He said, you want me to fulfill their word, huh? That's what he wants. This is Ezekiel chapter 9. Ezekiel chapter 9. Actually, this is Ezekiel chapter. Ezekiel chapter 14, Yakaziel chapter 14, verse 1. Ezekiel chapter 14, verse 1. Yakaziel chapter 14, verse 1. Then certain of the elders of Yasharal came to me and sat before me, and the word of Yahuwah came to me, son of Adam, these men have taken their idols in their hearts, and set a stumbling block of their iniquity before their faces. Shall I indeed myself be consulted by them? He said, why was he upset? Because when you look at Psalms 115, they were worshiping. He said, why? He said, Yahuwah, all he made the Shamayim. The nations, they make idols, but they can't hear, speak, talk. They can't even utter a sound out of their voice. He's saying, so why are people like that? He's saying because they got idols in their heart, in their heart. He says, why? Right? They can't even hear or speak. Right? So this is the book of. This is the book of. This is the book of Matthew chapter 9, verse 27. Matthew chapter 9, verse 27. Matthew chapter 9, verse 27. And as Yahusha passed, Matthew chapter 9, verse 27. And as Yahusha passed on from there, two blind men followed him. Because they can't hear, speak, or talk. Right? Matter of fact, they can't see. He said, those who got idols become just like them. And he says, and Yahusha passed on there, two blind men followed him, crying aloud, have mercy on us, son of David. Why? Because they set up their idols in their heart. He says, and when he entered the house, the blind men came to him, and Yahusha said to them, do you believe that I am able to do this? Are you able to believe that I'm able to destroy your idols? Because all who trust in them are just like them. So that's what he was trying to get them to understand. You believe I can do this? You trust in me? Because I don't think you do. So I'm asking you a question. Do you trust in me? And get what he says. They said to him, yes, master, we trust in you. Then he touched their eyes, saying, according to your amunah, be it done to you. And guess what happened? And their eyes were open. And now they a bunch of statues. Now they no longer statues. They can see now. They can hear. They can do all these things, but they couldn't see. And guess what he says? And their eyes were open. And Yahusha sternly warned them, "See that no one knows about it." And get what it says. But they went and spread the fame throughout all that district. It says, and as they were going away, behold, a demon oppressed that man who was mute. They can't speak either. He said they have make these idols, they become just like them. They become just like them. And get what he says. Who was mute. Because they set up the idols in their heart, in their mind, in their labab, in their leg, in their body. And they worship them. They inquire of them. But guess who they're inquiring of now? He says, oppressed man who was mute was brought to him. And when the demon had been cast out, the mute man spoke. He just tore down their idols in their heart, in their mind. So you can tear it down naturally outside of your body. You can break down every single thing around you. You can tear up every single thing, everything you own, these idols. But if you can't break them in your mind, if you can't break them inside of your inner man, you still oppressed by them. You still worship them, even though you broke them down in a physical reality. And guess what he says? And when the demon had been cast out, the mute man spoke. The crowds marveled, saying, never was anything like this seen in Yasharal, which means if there ain't nobody ever done it in Yasharal, which means everybody had idols in their heart. Everybody there had idols in their heart and their mind. And they didn't trust in Yahuwah at all. Not one person. And get what it says. But the Pharisee said he cast out demons by the prince of demons. And now, when you say Yahushua cast out demons by Beelzebub, as we talked about before, you saying that he a piece of on the ground. And that's the ultimate insult. Yahuwah said, you blaspheme against the Ruach. He said, you'll never be given forgiveness in this life or the next. That's the ultimate insult. Because remember, the Nabi'im prophesied lies, but not by my spirit, by your own spirit. Right? So this is the book of, getting out of this is the book of 2nd Enoch. 2nd Enoch. 2nd Enoch, pseudepigrapha. 2nd Enoch, pseudepigrapha. 2nd Enoch, pseudepigrapha. Get there right quick. 2nd Enoch. 2nd Enoch, pseudepigrapha, chapter 48. 2nd Enoch, pseudepigrapha, chapter 48. It says, 2nd Enoch, pseudepigrapha, chapter 48. It says, the sun, so that he might travel along the 7 celestial circles. We know the 7 celestial circles. We look at the 7 streams. We look at the 7 channels. We look at the 7 eyes on the near, the lampstand, on the menorah, on the near. We look at everything that moves along these 7 celestial circles. When you understand these 7 mu'ahs that we have throughout the year. Right? We look at Pesach, we look at Kagmatzah, we look at Bakur, Bakurim, we look at Shabur, we look at Turah, we look at Kafar, and then we look at Sukkah or Sukkot. All these are a part of the 7 celestial circles. When it says, which are appointed with 182 thrones, so they might descend to the shortest day. That's what we're moving into now. And 182 thrones that might descend to the longest day. We're leaving that. He also has 2 great thrones where he pauses. Then he turns around in this direction and the other direction higher than the lunar thrones. From the month, it says right here, and then skipping down, it says, in this way, the sun moves along all the celestial circles. When he comes close to the earth is merry and makes his fruit grow. What type of fruit? Righteousness. Let the rain showers come, and let righteousness sprout up in the earth. And guess what it says? It makes his fruit grow. And it says, but when it goes away, then the earth laments, and the trees and all the fruits have no productivity. That's what you don't want to happen. We're moving out of that. He said you want to still have productivity. And all this is by measurement, and by the most precise measurements of the hours. He fixed it by measure, by his own wisdom, that everything visible and invisible, from the invisible things and the invisible things, he created all the visible things. And he himself is invisible. all that's important. Right? So going to right, there's the book of Enoch, first Enoch, but this is in another book. This is the book of Enoch. First, this is book of Enoch, chapter 75. Book of Enoch, chapter 75, verse 1. And it says, "And the leaders of the heads of thousands who are placed over the whole creation and over all the stars, he also have to do with the 4 intercalary days, being inseparable from their office, according to the reckoning of a year." Those are, he said, the 4 transition times of a year. Right after the last day, after 31 days, after 3 months per cycle. 3 months, early summer, late summer, early winter, late winter. And it says 4 days, which are not. It says right here, it says inseparable from the office according to the reckoning of a year. And these render service on the 4 days, which are not reckoned in the reckoning of a year. And only to them men go wrong therein. For those luminaries truly render service to the world stations. 1 in the first portal, 1 in the third portal of the Shamayim, 1 in the 4th portal, and 1 in the 6th portal. We're not moving in the 4th portal. We're moving into the 4th portal. And get what it says. "And the exactness of a year is accomplished through its separate 364 stations. For the signs and the times and the years and the days. And Uriel showed to me, whom Yahuwah of Kabod have set forever over all the luminaries of the Shamayims, and the Shamayims and in the world, that they should rule on the face of the Shamayims, and be seen on earth, and be leaders for the day and the night, the sun, the moon, and the stars, and all the ministering creatures that make their revolution, and all the chariots of Shamayim. In like manner, 12 doors Uriel showed me." He showed him what? He showed him 12 doors. 12 doors Uriel showed me, open in the circumference of the sun's chariots in the Shamayims. Right? You know the sun has how many rays of light? 12 rays of light. When Yusuf went into the house, how many rays of light shone in the house? 12. When he saw the woman coming clothed with the sun, how many stones on her crown? 12. And guess what it says? It says, "And from them it is warmed." And from them it is warmed. Because it's summer. And guess what happens? Diffused over the earth when they are opened at their appointed seasons. And for the 4 winds and the ruach of the dew when they are opened, standing open in the heavens at the ends. As for the 12 portals in the Shamayims at the end of the earth, out of which go forth the sun, the moon, and the stars, and all the works of Shamayim in the east and in the west, there are many windows open to the left and the right of them, and one window at its appointed season produce warmth. Corresponding to those doors from which the stars come forth, ascending as he has commanded them. You get what it says? And wherein they set corresponding to their number. And I saw the chariots and the Shamayims running in the world above those portals, in which revolve the stars and never set. And what he said? And one is larger than all the rest. And what happened? And it says, and it is that makes its course through the entire world. He said it makes its course through the entire world. So this is the book of Matthew. Actually, yeah. Book of Matthew chapter 5. Matthew chapter 5. Matthew chapter 5 verse. Matthew chapter 5 verse. Matthew chapter 5 verse 21. Verse 21. It says, "You have heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not murder, and whoever murders will be liable of judgment. But I say to you, everyone who is angry with his brother will be liable of the judgment. Whoever insults his brother will be liable of the council. And whoever says you fool will be liable of hellfire. So if you are offering your gift at the altar, and there remembers that your brother has something against you, leave your gift, therefore, before the altar first, be reconciled to your brother or sister, and then come to offer your gift. Come to terms quickly with your accuser while you are going to him to court, lest the accuser hand you over to the judge, and the judge to the guard, and put you in prison. Truly I say to you, you will never get out until you have paid the last penny." Right, so you look at all the transactions that take place, and we look at these 7 celestial circles, and we look at the 12 rays of light, and then we also look at the portals that one travels onto. And each one of these portals come every single year. And being that these portals come every single year and they are fixed, every single year you are required to do something. Every single year. And you are required to be productive in this 11 celestial circles, because that productivity is based upon your own mind. And you can't lose your productivity. And it has to stay that way. He said, in order for it to stay that way, one has to be in a certain state of mind. And you got to be not only in a certain state of mind, but the people that you affected throughout your life have to be in a certain state of mind in order for everything to work properly for you. So it's not just based upon your state of mind, because the people around you have to be in a state of mind as well in order for it to work properly for you, right? So this is the book of Malachi. Book of Malachi, I think it's chapter 3. Book of Malachi, chapter 3. Malachi, chapter 3, verse 5. Malachi, chapter 3. Chapter 3, verse 5. And it says, 3 verse 5. And it says, "Then I will draw near to you for judgment. I will be swift witness against the sorcerers, against the adulterers, against those who swear falsely, against those who oppress the hired worker in his wages, the widows, the fatherless, against those who thrust aside the sojourner, and do not fear me, says Yahuwah of hosts." So you get everything Yahuwah commanded them not to do, they do an opposite. And get what he said? Because everything, remember, their offering was only based upon not just their mindset, but the mindset of the people that are around them. It ain't just based upon your own mindset. It's based upon also the people and the mindset around them. So if one is he said, draw near to judgment, if one is an adulteress, one who swears falsely, who said they're going to do something and don't do it, if you oppress a hired worker in his wages, a widow, fatherless, and against those who thrust aside the sojourner, and do not fear me, saith Yahuwah, because anytime you do those things to people, it creates feelings inside of people. And those feelings are based upon what you have done. And if those feelings are not reconciled within those feelings within themselves, then it won't work properly for you when it comes to your offering. Because those feelings affect other people. And then those feelings spread. And then those feelings create. And then those feelings cause. And then guess what? It's not going to work. Again, what it says. Verse 6 says, for I, Yahuwah, do not change. So if he doesn't change, just like this, we just read in the second Enoch, he said all these luminaries, they fixed. He said they've been here before you were here. He said the 12 rays of light, the 12 stations, they still going to be here. And they haven't changed since the beginning. He was like, I haven't changed either. All those feelings you haven't reconciled and those feelings within other people, guess what? And that you cause, guess what? It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work with me. He says, I am Yahuwah, I do not change. Therefore, O children of Yaakov, are not consumed. From the days of your fathers, you have turned aside from my statutes and have not kept them. Which means you ain't did not one thing. Return to me, and I will return to you. He was like, I'm not returning, I'm not coming to you. He said, return to me. Then I'll return to you. You want me to come back to you? He said, and amazingly, you read all these books, but then you see, in the sense of Yeshua, he said the Ruach going to depart from many in those days. Yahuwah said, return to me, I'll return to you. He said, you want me to come back? He said, only way the Ruach going to come back to you, you're going to have to return back to me. And get what he says. It says Yahuwah of hosts, but you say, how shall we return? Will a man rob Elohim? Yet you are robbing me. But you say, how have we robbed you? In your tithes and contributions. You are cursed with a curse. You mean tithes and contributions. Get what it says. For you are robbing me, the whole nation of you. Bring full the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. Because he said, y'all done lost productivity. You ain't bearing no fruit. You ain't got no wheat. You ain't got no barley. You ain't got no olive oil. You ain't cut no wood. You ain't got no altar wood. You ain't got nothing. You ain't got no gold. I don't see no gold, no silver. Now you may overlay it with. I don't see nothing in here. He says, where are all the things? You're not even doing the things you're supposed to do in that either. He says, and get what it says. And thereby put me to the test, says Yahuwah of hosts. If I will open up, he says, put me to the test, says Yahuwah of hosts. If I will not open the windows of Shamayim and pour you down a barak that you have not room enough to receive, that there is no more need. I'm going to pour you down rain showers. Let the rain showers come down and let righteousness sprout up. He said, I'm going to pour you down so much righteousness you ain't even going to have no room for it. I'm going to pour you down so much rain that you're going to have so much crops and fruits and herbs. Because you need herbs. Because there ain't nobody walking in righteousness right here. As you read in the book of Jubilees. You're going to need them. I'm going to make all these things sprout up so you can be healed. Look how much righteousness I'm going to pour down. But guess what he said? For you, he says, get what he says. He says, and you have no more need. You have no more need. I will rebuke the devourer for you, so that it will not destroy the fruits of your soil. And your vines and your fields shall not fail to bear, says Yahuwah. I'm going to rebuke the insectoids. I'm going to command the insectoids not to eat your food, because the insectoids got to eat. I'm going to command them not to eat your stuff. I'm going to command the bears not to eat your fruits. I'm going to command the deer not to eat your stuff. The groundhog ain't going to eat your whole garden. The caterpillar ain't going to eat your whole leaf. Yahuwah got power over the insectoids, just like he gave Adam in the beginning. Yahuwah created all of these things. But you know why men have lost connection with it? Because their tithe is currency. Their tithe is currency. Their tithe is not survival. Survival things you need the sun, you need rain, you need all of the insectoids and the animals to be in subjection in order for you to grow. And you need the seed to go, seed to plant, and you need the bread to come. Because it ain't survival. That's why it's not real for you. And guess what it says? Guess what it says? After he do all this, then all the nations will call you Barak. He said, man, what? You see their Elohim? You see their God? But you know, if you become like the idols of the Gentiles, then guess what happens? You become just like them. For you will be a land of delight, says Jehovah. Man, you're going to be the land of delight. Your mind, your heart, your natural land will be a land of delight. And guess what it says? Your words have been hard against me, says Jehovah of hosts. But you say, how have we spoken against you? You have said it is vain to serve Yahuwah. You say this is vanity. This is all vanity and vexation of the spirit. Ruach, that's what they say. That's what all these people who say, I gotta be poor to be, I gotta be this person to be this person that follow Mashiach. You saying all this is vanity. You say it's vain to do this? And get what he says. You have said it is vain to serve Yahuwah. What does it profit of our keeping his charge? That's what people say today. I ain't gonna do all of that. What profit is that? What profit is that? You know why people say that? Because they made idols in their heart and their mind. And they trust in them. They can't see that vanity. They see Yahuwah as vanity. They can't see that the idols they got in their mind making them say that. Because the nations, remember, the nations, the idols don't want your God to prosper. The nations don't want if you have the same idols in your mind as the nations, then guess what? They don't want your Elohim to prosper. They don't want your land to be a delight. They don't want your mindset to be a delight. They don't want you to be fruitful and multiply in your mind. And get what it says. You have said it is in vain to serve your Elohim. What profit is it our to keeping his charge or walking in his mourning before Yahuwah of hosts? It says charge or of walking as in mourning before Yahuwah of hosts. And now we call the arrogant Barak. That's what we do today. It says, evildoers not only prosper, but they put Elohim to the test and they escape. Because they got things that you don't got. But being that one doesn't want to do it, he said, the only reason they got it, and the only reason you cursing me and don't want to do what I say is because you got the same idols in your heart. Because you don't care about nobody's feelings. You don't care nothing about what I say. You don't care nothing about the land and growing and bringing food in and sharing and doing none of the things I told you to do. So being that you don't care, so guess what? You just like them. He said, you just like them. He said, you just like the nation. He said, why would he say that? Why would he say that, right? So this is the book of Enoch, pseudepigrapha. First Enoch, pseudepigrapha, chapter 77. First Enoch, pseudepigrapha, chapter 77. It says the first direction is called Orient, because it is the very first. The second is called the South, because the Most High Yahuwah will descend there. Indeed, because the eternally Barak will descend there. The third direction is the Occident. Its name means the diminished, because there are all the luminaries of the sky wanting and descending. The fourth direction, whose name is the north, is divided into three parts. One of them is the dwelling of human beings. The second of the seas, lakes, forests, rivers, darkness, clouds. The third part is the garden of righteousness. All these are part of a natural environment, nature itself, the things you can see. He said, this ain't got nothing to do with your digital phone picture. Right? This ain't got nothing to do with your digital profile. This has everything to do with this natural environment. And it says, I have 7 high mountains. How many? 7 high mountains. How many pyramids did he set up in 2nd Maccabees? When he was killed, Yonatan was killed? 7 pyramids. Why he put up the 7 pyramids? And get what it says. Which were higher than all the mountains of the earth. He said, I got 7 high mountains that are higher than all the mountains of the earth. And get what he says. Out of them proceeds frost. And days and years. And days and years. And transverse them in due season. What does that sound like? The 7 celestial circles. Those 7 high mountains. Those 7 cogs. Those muads. Those 7 feasts. And what do? They pour out. What do? It proceeds out frost, snow. What we're moving into? We're moving into wintertime, early winter. And get what it says. I saw 7 rivers upon the earth. How many rivers? 7 rivers. What did he say? He going in Yeshayahu chapter 11? He said, I'm going to smite it into 7 channels, and I'm going to bring them out in sandals. And I'm going to gather my people from the 4 winds, from the 4 corners of the earth, from the islands. I'm going to bring them back. And guess what he says? And I saw 7 rivers upon the earth, larger than all rivers. One of them, it says, larger than all the rivers. All these rivers are, he said, larger than all rivers, larger than the Nile. And get what he says? Larger than all rivers. One of them emerges from the west and empties into the water of the great sea. 2 others come from the northeast to the sea and empty their waters in the Erythraean Sea in the east. The 4 remaining ones come out from the sides of the northeast to their own respective seas. 2 of them to the Erythraean Sea, and 2 of them to the Great Sea, pouring themselves therein. Some say to the 7th desert. I also saw big islands in the sea, in the land, 72 in the Erythraean Sea. Right? He said, I saw 72 in the Erythraean Sea. So you see, you got 7 mountains, you got 7 rivers and streams, and they said they're larger than all the rivers on earth. And these rivers are pouring out, these mountains are pouring out frost, and these rivers are pouring out water. And they're going in all directions, moving about. And guess what it says? Skipping over, going into Yeshayahu chapter 11. Yeshayahu chapter 11, Isaiah chapter 11. Isaiah chapter 11. Isaiah chapter 11. Isaiah, Yeshayahu chapter 11, verse 10. It says, in that day the root of Yeshai, who shall stand as a signal for the peoples. He said, the root of Yeshai. Of him shall the nations inquire, and his rest shall be glorious. His Shabbat, his rest shall be glorious. And in that day Yahuwah will extend his hand yet a second time to recover the remnant of his people. He said, extend his right hand. He who holds the 7 stars in his right hand, the 7 channels. Matter of fact, he who created the 7 mountains that pour down frost, and the 7 channels and the 7 rivers that flow into each sea, each own sea and even the great sea. He said, recover his people, the remnant of his people, from the Assyria, from Mizraim, from Pathros, from Cush, from Elam, from Shinar, from Hamath, and from the coastlands of the sea. He's from all the islands. He just read it. Hanuk talked about this a long time ago. And get what he said. And he will raise a signal for the nations, and will symbol the banished of Yasharah. It's the banished. And gather the dispersed of Yehuda from the 4 corners of the earth. From the 4 corners of the earth. He said, why he need Yehuda? And the jealousy of Ephraim shall depart, and those who harass Yehuda shall be cut off. Ephraim shall be jealous of Yehuda, and shall not be jealous of Yehuda, and Yehuda shall not harass Ephraim, but there shall swoop down on the shoulder. They shall swoop down on the shoulders of the Philistines in the west, and together they shall plunder the people of the east. And they shall put out their hand against Edom and Moab, and the Ammonites shall obey them. And Yahuwah will utterly destroy the tongue of the sea of Mizraim. He said, how are you going to do that? When those 7 streams flow into the great sea? When they start flowing? Again, what happens? And will wave his hand over the river with his scorching breath, and shall strike it into 7 channels. How you say them 7 rivers? Them 7 rivers. And he will lead his people across on sandals. And there shall be a highway from Assyria and from the remnant that remains of the people. And there, as there was, it says, as there was for Yasharal when they came out of the land of Mizraim. Why? Because the people are now, if he's fighting the channels and fighting into 7 channels, which means they need water. So who's the water? Right, this is Yeshayahu 2, Isaiah 2 and 1. Isaiah 2 and 1. Isaiah Yeshayahu 2 and 1. It says, and the word of Yeshayahu, the son of Amos, saw concerning Yehuda and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the latter days that the mountain of Yahuwah's house shall be established in the tops of the mountains, and shall be lifted up above the hills, and all nations shall flow to it through them 7 channels. They're going to be flowing like water, just like 7 rivers flowing out water. And get what it says. And many people shall come and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of Yahuwah, to the house of the Elohim of Yaakov, that he may teach us his ways. Because the 12 tribes of Yasharal, he said he had not, in Psalms 147, he said he sold the statutes and the rules of Yasharal. He has not dealt so with any other people. Who else is going to give you it? They're the ones that are going to teach it to you. It says, come, get what it says. And many peoples shall come and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of Yahuwah, the house of the Elohim of Yaakov, and he will teach us of his ways, that we may walk in his paths. For out of Sion shall go forth the Turah, and the word of Yahuwah from Jerusalem. He shall judge between the nations, He shall judge between the nations, between their idols. Because all the nations got, what idols they got? Because remember, all the people who make idols in their mind, you know what they have. When they came to Yahushua, they all had idols in their heart. And when he was speaking to them, he said, you believe I have this ability? That's the only way they're going to believe. They got to believe that the people that he gave it to are the children of Yehuda. And if they believe that, then guess what? Yahushua say, receive your sight. Speak. They're going to be healed. They got to believe that. The people who are want to be, how you say, in it, they got to believe that Yahuwah only gave it to Yasharal Yehuda. They have to believe that. That's the people that are going to teach it to you. And get what it says. He shall judge between the nations and shall decide disputes for many peoples. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares. What do you see they doing now? They fighting now. They're killing each other now. And what he said, and their spears into pruning hooks. Why are you going to beat their spears into pruning hooks into plowshares? We just read it in the book of Malachi. He said, how have you robbed me? In tithes and offerings? You ain't even doing, you ain't planting no crops, you ain't planting no herbs, you ain't planting no nothing. Yahuwah's like, test me and see. See if I don't pour you out of Ruach, pour you out of Barak, that you have no room enough to receive. I'm going to pour you out righteousness. Why? When you start caring about other people's feelings? He said, then I'm going to pour. He said, prove me. He said, I don't want to prove Yahuwah in that way. That's just too mushy. You mean I got to go and do that? That is too mushy. Exactly. I don't know how to express myself. Exactly. These are all a part of man's failures. He said, oh, you hard-hearted people. And he says, and they shall beat their plowshares swords and the plowshares and the spears and the pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. What do you think they're doing right now? They're warring nations. Why? Because of covetousness. These are the laws they need. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy nation's wife. Manservant, menservant, maidservant, lands. You know what happened when Ahal, he wanted the land of your neighbor? It was right next to his. He was all moaning and weeping because he wouldn't sell it to him. So Isabel made a fake law and made some fake things up and got him killed to take the land. That's what they do today. Same stuff, right? But it says right here, nation shall not lift up sword against nation, and neither shall they study war anymore. O house of Yaakov, come, let us walk in the light of Yahuwah. So he's saying this is the light of Yahuwah. This is the true light of Yahuwah, or of Yahuwah. Where this other or light you're seeing is not the real light. He said it's the true light. Let us walk in the light of Yahuwah. Let us walk in the light or of Yahuwah, right? Or this is Bereshit 1:1. Genesis 1:1. Bereshit 1:1. It says, in the beginning, Genesis 1:1, Elohim created the Shamaim and the earth was without form and void, and darkness over the face of the deep. And the Ruach of Elohim was hovering on the face of the waters, and Elohim said, let there be light. And there was light. He said, let us walk in the light of Yahuwah. O house of Yaakov, let us walk in the or of Yahuwah, the light of Yahuwah. Let there be light. And Elohim saw the light, that it was good, and Elohim separated the light from the darkness. And Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, a Kayyum. O house of Yaakov, let us walk in the light of Yahuwah. This is Proverbs chapter 6, verse 23. 6, verse 22. Proverbs 6:22. It says, when you walk, O house of Yaakov, let us walk in the light of Yahuwah. Let us walk in the light, the or. When you walk, they will lead you. When you lie down, they will watch over you. And what did he say? And when you awake, they will talk with you. O house of Yaakov, let us walk in the light of Yahuwah. In the book of Malachi, they weren't doing it. Malachi, they weren't doing it. You will say, who are you to recite my statutes? And get what he says. Watch. Get what it says, and they will watch over you. As in verse 23 says, for the commandment is a lamp, the near, and the teaching is a light. The Torah is a light. O house of Yaakov, let us walk in the light of the Torah. And he said, and walk in our 12 stations. With our 12 rays of light. And reproofs and discipline our way of life. And you say it's vain to serve you? You say it's vain to do these things. He said, how the nation is going to say, your land is Barak? How are they going to do that? You know why you can't? Because you're still saying it's vanity and all vexation. Those are for people who don't want to walk in the light of the Torah. Because a lot of the Torah requires responsibility, caring about people's feelings, what you do to people, how you treat each other, how you share, how you give, how you store up, and there be food for other people, that nobody starves to death. Yeah, you know that type of light. It says, for the commandment is a lamp, and the teaching is a light, and the reproofs and discipline are our way of life, to preserve you from the evil woman, from the evil of your own self. He said the evil woman, that's an idol. For the smooth tongue of the adulterers, that's the idol worshippers. Because you know what happened when in the book of Malachi, what did they do? They said it's vain to serve you. It's vain. That's what they said in their heart, because they got idols. It says, do not desire her beauty in your heart, nor do let her capture you by her eyelashes. Right, so this is the book of this is the Aquarian, the gospel, the Aquarian gospel of, this is the Aquarian gospel, let's say the Aquarian truth. This is the Aquarian, of Yahushua Mashiach, chapter 89, verse 1. Now the day before the Shabbat day, the 12 disciples who had received the call were met with one accord in Yahushua's home. He said, let all the waters be gathered into one place. How many disciples he had? He had 12. I saw 12 mountains. Actually 7 mountains. But you see right here, I saw 7 mountains. But it says right here, turn. It says, and Yahushua said to them, this day is the day to consecrate yourselves unto the work of Elohim. So let us pray. He said to consecrate yourselves to the work. You mean the work? Yeah, bring you all the tithes in the storehouse. There may be food in my house, because there ain't no food in there. And the wintertime is coming. You know what's gonna happen when the wintertime comes? There ain't no food in the house. He said, let us pray. You know what he said? Verse 23 says, turn from your outer to your inner self. Leave your carnal self and go to your inner self. Close the doors of your carnal self and wait. Yahuwah said, return unto me, and I'll return unto you. The Kudash breath will fill this place. He said, return unto me, and I'll return to you. And you will be immersed in the Kudash breath. Return unto me, and I'll return to you. You get what he says? And then they prayed, and a light more brilliant than the noonday sun filled all the room. O house of Yaakov, let us walk in the light of Yahuwah. Because the sun was made on the 4th day. It was brighter than the noonday sun. Let us return to him. And get what he says. Then the noonday sun filled all the room, and the tongues of flames from every head rose high in the air. Because who can hide from the heat? He said the sun is like a bridegroom leaving his chamber. Who can hide from the heat? And guess what he said? The atmosphere of Galilee was set asere, and the sound of distant thunder rolled above Capernaum. And men heard songs as though 10,000 Malachim joined in full accord. O house of Yaakov, let us return let us walk in the light or of Yahuwah, both male and female, and children. And guess what it says? And then the 12 disciples heard a voice, a still small voice, and just one word was said, a word they dare not speak. It was the sacred name of Yahuwah. He was their sacred name. O house of Yaakov. He said, Yahuwah said, return to me and I'll return to you. And guess what he said? And Yahushua said to them, by this omnipotent word, you may control the elements and all the powers of the air. And get what he said. And when within your souls you speak this word, you have the keys of life and death, of things are and things that were, and things that are to be. Behold, you are the 12 great branches of the vine. He said 12 great branches. He was saying 12. And get what he says. And 12 foundation stones, the 12 shalakim of Mashiach. Now skipping down to verse 18. Verse 17. It says, you sons of Elohim, why are you here? Would you destroy us by the word before our time? Let's skip me over. Verse 15 says, and Yahushua spoke, and a man obsessed came in the evil spirits that obsessed the man were of the baser sort. They often threw their victim to the ground or in the fire. And when the spirits saw the Christine master in the building, in the congregation, they knew him. And they said, "You son of Elohim, why are you here?" That's what they say when you show up. He said, when he came into the synagogue, the congregation, he said, "What you here for?" And he was just in the house with his disciples, and they Ruach breath came in, 12 rays of light shining. Yahuwah done returned to them. They done got everything back. They in the house first, and then now they going to these places. And they say, "What you doing here?" And guess what happened? He said, "You son of Elohim, why are you here? Would you destroy us by the word before our time?" Huh? Would you destroy us by the word before our time? "We would have naught to do with you, let us alone." But Yahushua said to them, "By the omnipotent word I speak, come out, torment this man no more. Go out of go to your place." And then the unclean spirit threw the man upon the floor, and when a flesh cried, they went away. And Yahushua lifted up the man and said to him, what did he say? "If you will keep your mind full occupied with good, if you will keep your mind full occupied with good, the evil spirits cannot find a place to stay." So now you see why they had idols in their heart. He said they became just like them. Can't hear, speak, or talk. Your arms, they can't even move them. They can't even do a wave offering. Can't do a new anuf. He said they can't do nothing. They got ears, they got nose, they can't even smell. He said they who trust in them are just like them. He said if you keep your mind occupied with doing good, they won't have no place to stay inside of you. Just like in Malachi chapter 3. He said, man, you were oppressing the widows, you were withholding the wages, you were committing adultery, y'all doing all types of stuff. Y'all mind are occupied in evil. And then you didn't have to bring no food and sharing with nobody, and y'all not helping nobody out. "Return unto me, and I'll return to you. O house of Yaakov, let us walk in the light of the Torah, both male and female, and children." Right? It says, and the evil spirits can have no place to stay. Then they only, get what he says, verse 21 says, they only come to empty heads. Empty heads and heart. Go on your way and sin no more, which means walk in the light of the Torah. And make sure you have your mind filled with doing good and not evil. Because to have evil, to do evil, is to sin. Because to do evil, Ra, is to sin. Not a specific sin, just to do evil, period. All evil. Right? You get what he says? The people were astonished at the words that Yahushua spoke and the work he did. The work. I must work the work while it's day. That's the work he did. You get what he said? And they asked among themselves, who is this man? From whence all this power that even unclean spirits fear and flee away? He's like, who is he? Right? We almost finished. This is the book of this is the book of Matthew chapter 12, verse 9. Matthew chapter 12, verse 9. And he went out from there and entered there a congregation, a synagogue, and a man was there with a withered hand. And they asked him, is it lawful to heal on the Shabbat? So that they might accuse him. And he said to them, which one of you who has a sheep and it falls into the pit on the Shabbat will not take hold of it and lift it out? Of how much more value is this man than a sheep? So is it lawful to do good on the Shabbat? If you have your mind occupied in doing good, no evil spirit gonna take over your mind. So what do you think them people were doing when they were asking that question, knowing good and well they're trying to get them to fall and mess up and slip up? They got evil spirits. Because their mind won't occupied in doing good. They more worried about, oh, what you gonna do? Heal on the Shabbat? And get what he said. Then he said to them, stretch out your hand. And the man stretched out his hand, stretched it out, and it was restored, healthy like the other. He's like, man, I got my health back. Because I'm Yahuwah who heals all your diseases. He gave his health back. All right, so this is the book of Romans. Book of Romans chapter 7, verse 15. Romans chapter 7, verse 14. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am of the flesh, sold unto sin, your carnal self. And get what he says. For I do not understand my own actions. For I do not do what I want, but I do the very thing I hate. Now if I do what I want, if I do what I do not want, I agree with the law, the Torah, that it is good. So now it is no longer I who do it, but sin that dwells within me. It's the evil. Get what he said. For I know that nothing good dwells in me. If your mind is not occupied in doing good, then he said the evil spirit ain't gonna have no place for you. No place inside of you. And get what he said. That is my flesh. For I have the desire to do what is right, but not the ability to carry it out. For I do not do the good I want, but the evil I do not want is what I keep on doing. Which means if he's doing evil, Rob, what do you think he's saying? He said, I'm being tormented by demons. I'm being tormented by spirits. Because the evil spirits are finding a place inside of me. I'm not having my mind occupied in doing good. I want to do good, but for some reason I keep doing evil, and now demons have occupying my mind. Now, if I do what I do not want, it is no longer I who do it, but sin that dwells in me, the demons that dwell in me. And you know what most people don't say? I ain't got no demons. I ain't got no spirits. I ain't got no evil inside of me. So I find to be a law that when I want to do right, evil lies close at hand. For I delight in the law of Yahuwah in my inner being. Close yourself from your outer self to your inner self. And the Kudash breath will fill your house. And it says, but I see in my members another law waging war against the law of my mind, and making me captive to the law of sin that dwells in my members. He said they're gonna beat their plowshares and the pruning hooks, and the swords and the pruning hooks, and his plowshares, and beat them into farming tools, and they're gonna study war no more. And guess what happens? Wretched man that I am, who will deliver me from this body of death? He's like, oh man, who's gonna deliver me from this body of death, of evil, of sin, of these demons, these shadim that's inside of me? Just like the man cried out and he was blind. Just like the man that cried out and his hand was with it. Just like the people who cried out and had a mute spirit. Who's gonna deliver me from these demons, these shadim that's inside of me? And get what he said. Thanks be to Elohim through Yahushua Mashiach, our master. That's who's gonna do it. So then I myself serve the law of Elohim in my mind, with my mind. Why? So I can have my mind occupied in doing good and not evil. Because if you keep it from your outer man and try to do it by your own spirit, we just talked about the prophets prophesying by their own spirit. If you do it by your own will and your own spirit, then guess what? You're not going to have no power. You got to do it by his power. Old house of your code. Let us walk by the Torah, the light of the Torah. And guess what happens? I myself serve the law of Elohim with my mind, but with my flesh I serve the law of sin, which with my flesh I put myself in vulnerability. So close the door from your outer self to your inner self. Right, so this is the book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 12. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 12. First Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 12. We ask you, brothers and sisters and children, to respect those who labor among you, he said, who are over you and admonish you. Why would he say that? He said, we ask you, brothers and sisters, to worship them. No, he didn't say that. To burn incense and candles to them. No, he said that. To say all types of things to them. No. Did he tell you to do that? No. To make a picture and put it on a thing and put it on a billboard. No, he didn't tell you that. Make a big giant picture and make all these things. No. He didn't tell you all that extra stuff. He just said to respect. Right? You respect a bear when it walks by. When a bear walks by, when you see a bear? When you see a bear walk by and what do you see? You just be like, okay, that's a bear. Let me leave that bear alone. Oh, that's a lion. Let me leave that lion alone. That's respect. It ain't got nothing to do with you. Oh, double. Oh, this and that. All these words. No, it ain't got nothing to do with that. You know how people do today? You see you jump in the ocean, you see a great white shark. What do them people get out there? They get out the water, right? They get out the way. They say, okay, that's a great white shark. Let me get out the way. That's respect. Ain't got nothing to do with all this other stuff that people do. And get what he says? And to esteem them highly in love because of their work. He's like, you see that? He's like, don't mess with that. What's that? That's a big polar bear. He dwells in the north side, in the north gate. Leave him alone. You know what it says? It says, be at peace among yourselves. Why? And we urge you, brothers and sisters, and everybody, admonish the idle. Why he says, where the demons dwell at? We just read in the Aquarium. They dwell in the empty mind. They're not having their mind occupied and doing good. They're idle-minded. That's what happens. People say, Mama, why are you always in the Torah? Why you gotta do all this? Why you gotta read all these books? Why you gotta sing songs? He said, why you gotta go to make songs? Why you gotta go to the studio? Why you gotta always be doing this and going in the yard and taking cattle or cleaning stuff or picking up stuff or doing all this stuff? He's like, I'm just occupied. He said, if I don't occupy myself, then guess what? Why you always doing that? Why you always polite? Why you always say these things? He said, I'm just occupied. And get what he says. And esteem for highly from the biat shalom with one another ourselves, and we urge you, brothers, admonish the idle, encourage the faint-hearted, help the weak. This is all the things in Malachi chapter 3 we read about that they were not doing. Yahuwah says, return to me, I'll return to you. I mean, how is it you rob me? You ain't been in the field, you ain't been taking care of animals, and you ain't been planting nothing. So therefore ain't no food in my house, ain't no wheat and barley. He says, wintertime coming, everybody gonna start to death. You only care about yourself. Y'all selfish. Y'all selfish, hard-hearted people. Oh, let us walk in the light of the Torah. And to be occupied and doing good, and we no longer worship these idols and have demons in our heart and our mind. And we no longer walk like that. Just like the world. You see all these selfish people. That's all you see. Selfish. Oh, there's one that do good. Then one out of 100 people, there's one good person. And then other people, they call on other names and they still selfish. They call on Yahuwah, selfish. They call on Yahuwah, selfish. Yahweh, all selfish people. Then you have one that is good at amongst all. And get what it says. Be at peace among yourselves and urge you, brothers, admonish the idle, encourage the faint-hearted, help the weak, be patient with them all. We need to be patient, just like any of them. He said, don't hurt their feelings. You're going to hurt something. He said, be patient. We mean be patient. You're patient with a child. A mother still kisses the child all in the face and licks his teeth and kisses him all in the face Even if he does one thing wrong, if he spills all his stuff on the ground and she got to clean it up for 3 hours, if he put crayon marks all on the couch, guess what the mother do? She be patient with him the whole time, and you know what she does? She is patient and she does it anyway. She cleans up right after. That's what a mother does. Because you gotta have patience. Because if you don't, you're gonna be doing some things like you see on the news today. You see some people driving their kids in the lake, driving them off a bridge, doing crazy stuff. Why? Because they ain't got no patience. Kindness, Ahal, joy, peace, patience. Oh, that's one of the fruits of the Ruach. Kindness, Ahal, joy, peace, patience, goodness. Oh, doing good. That's one of the fruits of the Ruach. And guess what it says? Seek to do good. Guess what it says? See that no one repays anyone evil for evil. If you have your mind occupied in doing evil, then what happens? Demons. They have a place inside of you. They got a good, nice little seat. Be like, man, they like at a movie theater, front row, fourth seat, maybe 12 seats above on the left. You know, when you have it in the movie theater, whoever been, you go to sit in the 12th seat in the row, that perfect seat in the middle of the theater. They got that perfect seat. Eating popcorn while you doing everything. They just like, ooh, look at this. Evil for evil. This is what I like to watch. Right? Hey, you gonna go give me some Skittles? They be talking to the other demon. You gonna buy me some Skittles? Right? And he says, seek to do good. He said, no, return no one evil for evil, but always seek to do good. Always. Which means if you always seeking to do good, your demon ain't got no place in your mind. O house of your cold, let us walk in the light of the Torah, because demons hate the light. They hate the Torah. They hate the light. They won't come to the light lest their deeds be reproved. The demons can't stay. They have no place. Why do you think when he split the tribes, they went to robe them, they said, we have no place in the house of God no more. Let's go back to our tents. Because they ain't got no place there. They can't stay because you walk in the light of the Torah. You ain't worshiping the idols in Baal and Dan and Bethar. But guess what it says? It says, seek to do good to one another and to everyone. That means every person you see, with believer or non-believer. So if you don't do good all the time, you're going to leave a place for a demon to come to your mind. And the idols and the things that come in your heart. And guess what happens? Rejoice always, pray without ceasing. Why? Rejoice always, even in your adversity. Even when things are going wrong. Even pray without ceasing, even when your adversity. Even when things are going wrong. Give thanks in all circumstances, in every single circumstance. Just like we read in 2nd Enoch. He said, he gave what? He said, in all your adversity, walk. In all your assaults, walk. In all your abounding in growth, walk. In all the things, he said, walk, and you'll get eternal life. And it says, for this is the will of Elohim and Mashiach Yahusha for you. Because you need adversity to grow. People say, I don't need adversity to grow. Yes, you do. So you know how to pray in adversity. He said, how you always going to get the second command? How did Yusuf get the second command into Mizraim? He had to go through adversity. How did Mashiach be able to hold a sapphire rod and be able to bring him out in Mizraim? He had to go through adversity. He ain't gonna just get there. How did the woman who gave the poor man in the book of Yasher gave that poor man against the laws of Sodom and Gomorrah to help the poor, and they put her honey on it and they stung her to death, and Yahuwah heard her voice and she got eternal life. He said she had to do it through adversity. He said he cried and he hit his ear, all the way in the highest Shemayim. He said, why I gotta go through all these adversity? Why? Because that's the only way you're gonna get eternal life. That's how you grow. He said, that's how you get your voice heard. You have to go through adversity. You have to go through uncomfortable situations in order for one to get to where they need to go. You say, I gotta run through pain? Yeah. I gotta do this through my mindset? They say, yeah, you still have to do it. You get what he says? Do not quench the Ruach. That's the whole point. Because that's all these things come to do, is try to get you to quench the Ruach inside of you. To make you go to your carnal self. And try to solve it in your carnal ways. And your carnal understanding. That's why you gotta always delight in the inward man. say you won't do evil anymore. Because he's going to quench the Ruach. Because the Ruach ain't got no power. You don't ever see a superhero when something's going bad or something's going terrible, you don't see it quench the superpower down the inside. No, it brings it out even more. You bring out the superpower even more when things start to go crazy. And you mellow down when everything's all great. When it start going, everything's all calm. When everything starts going haywire, he said, you can't be holding back the Ruach. He said, what are you doing? We need you right now. I don't want to come out. What are you doing? He's like the Hulk. I don't want to come out. We say, why? We need you right now. I don't want to. Huh? And get what it says. Do not despise prophecies and numbers, but test everything. Hold fast to what is good. Huh? Why? You got to hold fast to what's good. Because you got to constantly have your mind occupied in what is good. Abstain from every form of evil. He said every form, shape, body type, transvestite, everything, every form of evil, all types of evil stuff out here now. Women night, right? Men night, all types of stuff, all types of crazy stuff out here now. Akoros, Aktum, Akbiwi, what? You got all types of spirits out here now. Lithirax, Asmodeus, Mustama, Satan-Al, Zaphon, reptilians, all types of beings. Wizards, warlocks, necromancers, spirit channels, sorcerers, shapeshifters. He said all forms of evil. You get what it says? Now may the Elohim of peace himself sanctify you completely, and may your whole Ruach and soul and body. So that's a whole bunch of stuff now. You made your whole Ruach, that's your spirit, your Nephash, and your natural man, your body, be kept blameless. People say mind, body, soul. Mind, body, soul. Shaul said, I delight through the Torah through my mind. He who calls you is faithful. He will surely do it. He said, prove me and see. I won't pour you out righteousness. You have no more need. You get what it says? Brothers, pray for us. Greet all the brothers and sisters. He said, brothers with a Kadosh kiss. I put you under oath before Yahuwah. You ever been put on the oath? Most people have never been to court. He said, you ever been put on the oath? He said he's going to judge. He said when Yahuwah opened the courts against you. He said, I put you on the oath. I mean, you got to do this thing before Yahuwah to have this letter read to all the brothers. He's like, make sure you do this. He said, make sure you read these things. He said, these are letters. See, back in times past, letters were more cherished than all the things that people have today. And they still got the letters written in the book. I'm sure they got all the messages that people type, and they get ready to put it in an artificial intelligent body with some sentient being, half man, half made a robot, go upload every single message on earth, and he's going to know everything about every single person on earth, and he's going to be able to tell you, and people are going to be mesmerized by it. He knows everything about me. He must be true and a prophet. He could be a clone made of human who he uploaded every single message on earth inside of, and you're going to be thinking it's something great. He said, they don't got that ability. Yes, they do. I said, you just don't know the archons. You don't know the Malachim. You don't know these demons. Right? So this is the book. This is the last thing. This is Ode Shalom. Odes of Solomon. This is Odes of Solomon. This is Odes of Solomon. Odes of Solomon, chapter Ode 29. Odes of Solomon, Ode 29. Yahuwah is my hope. I shall not be ashamed in him. For according to his praise he made me, and according to his kind, even so he gave to me. And according to his mercies he raised me. Because on the third day, he said 2 days he's going to revive us, and the third day he's going to raise us up. He raised me, and according to his great honor, he lifted me up. The son of Adam, Yahuwah, son of Adam be lifted up. He said, I'm going to draw people to myself. Why do you think Yahushua, when they were accusing him, he said, you don't hear all these things they're saying? He answered them not a word, because he said, such are they who make idols. He said, they can't even speak. They hear, but they won't speak. You telling me that he was talking about in Psalms 115, he was talking about Yahushua Mashiach? Yeah. And when the king marveled, he was like, you don't hear what they saying? I adjure you by the name of Yahuwah. Lest they see with their eyes and hear with their heart and understand, and they be converted. Why do you think he spoke? You're going to see me coming in the cloud. Abraku kanaf halaru. And understand with their heart, and they can be converted, and they will be healed. Why do you think Yahushua healed the people? Do you believe I have this ability? He said, hold your little moment. Why you die? This verse 4 says, and he caused me to ascend from the depths of Sheol, and from the mouth of death he drew me. And I humbled my enemies, and he justified me by his kind. For I believed in Yahuwah's Mashiach, and considered that he is the master. Get what it says. And he declared to me his son, and he led me by his light. O house of Yaakov, let us walk in the light of the Torah. Let us return to Yahuwah, and he will return to us. And get what he says. And he gave me the scepter of his power, his omnipotent, omnipotent power, unlimited power. But his understanding is infinite. And get what it says. That I might subdue the thoughts of the Goyim. What are the thoughts of the Gentiles? Idol worship. They can't hear, speak, talk. They can't even, they can't smell. He said, and such they are who trust in them. Why do you think Shaul said, I delight in the Torah in my mind? Yahushua said, if you don't be occupied in good, evil will take over your mind. The Siddim will take over your mind. The thoughts of the Gentiles. Why do you think Yahushua said in Yeshayahu 55, he said, my thoughts are not your thoughts, my ways are not your ways, because you think like the nations. He said, you got the nation mindset. You like Esau, who sit on the mountain and watch his brother Yaakov get ready to be destroyed, and you ain't gonna do nothing. And you think like a goon. You think like a Gentile. You gotta have your mind occupied and doing good. What do you think Esau, Asu, and Abadiah was doing? His mind, he had evil spirits. Why do you think he ain't come down to help Yaakov? And get what he says. And it says, and humble the strength of the mighty, to make war by his word. That's why he's going to destroy him. He said, you come to destroy us by your word before the time. And to take victory by his power. Death is swallowed up in victory. Oh, wretched man that I am, who's going to deliver me from this death? I thank you, by Yahushua Mashiach, the master. You get what he says? And Yahuwah overthrew my enemy by his debar, his word. And why do you think Yahushua was speaking and all his spirits came out? He said he overthrew my enemy by his debar. I destroyed these enemies. I destroyed these enemies. People say, why he said my enemies will be there of my own household? Of course, the demons are in his own household. He's like, I destroyed them. The enemies that you think Yahushua's enemies were not physical reality. His enemies are the spirit world. They manifest. Those were his enemies. Go from your carnal self to your inner self and see your real enemies. And see people as needing to be delivered from these enemies. And it says, to make war by his word and take victory by his power. And Yahuwah overthrew my enemy by his word. And he became like the dust which a breeze carries off. Just like the breeze that carries off, just like something blowing the wind. It's like a spirit come out. it blow in the wind. Some of it mess up electrical devices. And get what it says. And I gave praise to the Most High, because he has magnified his servant and the son of his maidservant. Last thing, and I'm done. Last thing. This is Aydah Shalom. Last chapter of Aydah Shalom. Last chapter, Odes of Solomon. Odes of Solomon. Chapter 42. Odes of Solomon. Chapter 42, verse 7. Actually, verse 8. 42 and 8. Like the arm of the bridegroom over the bride, so is my yoke over those who know me. And he says, and as the bridal feast is spread out by the bridal pairs home, so is my love by those who believe in me. He said, just like the bridal feast spread out by the bridal pairs home. They don't do that today. But it says right here, I was not rejected, although I was considered to be so. And I did not perish, although they thought it of me. They thought it. They said, man, he ain't dead. Nothing happened to him. And get what it says. Sheol saw me and was shattered. When they saw Yahushua, they was like, oh, son of Adam, you come to destroy us by your word before the time. Well, Sheol saw him. You better know your enemies, because your enemies ain't human beings. Your enemies are the things that dwell inside of human beings. Because the weapons of your warfare are not carnal. He said, when Sheol saw me, it said, Sheol saw me and was shattered, and death ejected me, and many with me. I have been vinegar and bitterness to it, and I went down with it as far as its depths. Then the feet and the head it released, because it was not able to endure my face. Who are you? I can't. He said, the man's wisdom make his face to shine. He said they couldn't endure his face. He said, why? Because he had 12 rays of light. He said, I saw brightness even brighter than the sun that appeared in the house. He's like, man, he could see us all. He said they couldn't see his face. He says, I made a congregation of living among the dead. I went among a bunch of dead people in Sheol, and I made everybody alive. Who can do that? And I spoke with them by living lips. He that believes on me, as the scripture said, I was belly shall flow rivers of living lips. Living water. Alkaline water. And get what it says. In order that my word may not fail. As rain and stones come down from Shamayim, so did the Barbie that goes out of our mouth. It shall not return to me void, but it shall accomplish what it's sent to do. It ain't gonna come back to him void. And get what it says. And those who had died ran toward me. And they cried out and said, Son of Elohim, have pity on us. Why do you think the men were crying out to Yahushua Mashiach when they were like, Son of Adam, have mercy on us. Please have mercy on us. Please have mercy on us. I just need to touch the hem of his garments and I'll be healed. Please have mercy on us. And deal with us according to your kindness. And bring us out from the chains of darkness. From the chains of darkness, because I worship idols. I worship idols. I didn't have my mind occupied in doing good all the time. I've been constantly thinking on evil. So therefore, I'm chained in darkness. Have mercy on me, Yahushua Mashiach. And it says, verse 17, and he says, and open for us the door by which we may go forth to you. I saw 10 virgins. 5 were wise and 5 were foolish. For we perceive that our death does not approach you. These demons, these spirits don't approach you because they scared of your face. Because they respect him who labored among him in the truth. Why do you think Yahushua? Why do you think they were respecting Yahushua? Why do you think the demons were respecting Yahushua? They were like, no, that's the line of Yehuda. Already Yehuda. We see you. Yahushua I know, Shaul I know. I don't know you. I know them. They respect them. Amazingly, they did. The spirit will respect them. You get what he says? You get what he says? Verse 18, may we also be saved with you, because you are our Savior. Where are you going, Yahushua? We going with you. Even Peter said what? Yahushua, we'll follow you wherever you go. He said, I'm going to be living in the enemy's hands and be killed. He said, this is not you deny me 3 times. Verse 19, we're almost on this. Then I heard their voice. And what he said, and placed their amunah in my heart. He placed their faith. By your faith, your amunah, you are healed. You get what he says? And I placed my name upon their head. Huh? I placed my name upon their head. Upon their forehead. And get what it says? Because they are free. They are free from what? From evil. And they're occupied in doing good. And when Yahuwah places his name in your head, and guess what happens? It's inside of your head. Yahushua Mashiach, Yahuwah inside of your head, and guess what happens? First day to the second day, and Yahuwah, evening and morning, it was good. 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 It was good until the 7th day. And guess what he said? Akkad, it was good. It was good. They healed, and they are mine. He said, because they are free, and they are mine. Hallelujah. Right? So you look at it, he said, be free. And when you free, he said, you are mine. And Yahuwah said, when you are mine, he said, you know why they said, you know why Yahuwah said you are mine? Yahushua said you are mine? Because Yahuwah said, return to me, and I'll return to you. They cried out to him. He didn't cry out to them. He said they came to him. He said, I'll return to you. He said, you free now. Because you mine. Because you know why? Because you thought you could see. Because I healed you. And it wasn't because of your own spirit, and you thought you could see. And get what he said? Being that you say you see, your guilt remains. But I come for judgment into the world. That those who see may become blind. And those who are blind may be able to see. That they may be free, and they'll be mine, and I'll be theirs, and we'll be one. We no longer live out the rest of our days according to the will of the flesh, but according to the Ruach HaKodesh. We look at all this, we look at the understanding, we look at the 7 mountains, we look at the 7 streams, we look at the 7 rivers, we look at the 7 celestial circles, and we look at the 7 channels. We look at the productivity of these 12 stations of light that's given by Yahushua, that's given by Yahuwah Elohim, that's fixed. And that these 12 stations of light give light into these portals. As we move into the 3rd portal, we move into this 3rd portal and we move into early winter. We look at the actual transitions of time and the changing of the colors. And the trees will let you know when the seasons are changing. But we hit that threshing point of in between these seasonal cycles. And you get to see the actual brilliance of this very composite of the auto gene and the automation system that Yahuwah created. For we live in this world, we are not of it. And we look at everything that Yahuwah created, and he calls us to interact with, that we may have food in his house. And also, by interacting with these things that we do on a day-to-day basis, we'll not only have food in his house and be able to share, but we also treat each other and everybody else amongst each other with the same respect. Even as the commandments, the 10 commandments, even as the statutes and judgments that commanded children of Yasharal when they came out of Mizraim. Even as he commanded Hanuk, even as he commanded Adam, even as he commanded Noah, even Abraham itself, even the families, Methuselah, who taught all through the lineages and gave and passed it down to Noah and gave it to Abraham, to Isaac and Jacob. But he has not dealt so with any other people. When we see the breakage of the nations to try to break our connection with our Father so we can have our mind and think like the nations. So when you stop thinking like them and you return back to your Father in the higher Shamayim, and guess what happens? then no longer the nations have power over you, and you are free. And you are his. And you no longer walk according to them. For they'll look at you strange, they'll be like, oh, that's just them. But that's just because they don't respect. Because in order to break free from the nation, you gotta labor in the truth. That's the only way you're gonna break free from the nations. You gotta labor in it. They'll say that's just them because you labored and broke free. But being that they have the nation thinking in your mind, you can't break free. But if you can break free, it means you've done the work to break free. So we look at ourselves, we look at our truth, we look at the bar. We say Psalms 83 will not prosper against us. But we look at ourselves, we look at our truth, we look at the knowledge of Yahushua Mashiach. We look at breaking free from all of the mindsets that have been given to suppress our thoughts. And we may say Jerusalem, the real Jerusalem, that's surrounded by mountains. The real Jerusalem that dwells in the midst of the earth. The real Jerusalem that dwells in the center of the actual land of the whole earth. The real Jerusalem that is yet to arise and that is rising will rise in the earth again as it was in the days of old. Right? So we look at all the things and the memories that's been cut off, and we look at regaining our memory back. And as our memory gain back, we gain back our celestial circles, we gain back our celestial time, we gain back our 12 million centers, our 12 cranial nerves, we get back our 12 stations, we get back to our 12 rays of light. We now bear fruit every single month in this earth. For the meek shall inherit the earth. The meek shall inherit the earth.